Open borders is one of 11 class war policies in place over the last 50 years. They're found in each party, and when you vote, you're voting for one half of the class war agenda. Open borders is about cheap labor for corporations, and it's been a fixture in both parties for 50 years. Trump began exploiting it in 2015. He took a few cosmetic actions in his first term, carefully designed to leave the status quo intact. These were political theater, a common tactic used to distract from real issues. It's one of three related scams: the non issue, political theater, and moral panic. They work together, but more about them in another video. In contrast, Obama deported 3 times more migrants. He did it efficiently and humanely. These are important points of which we can all be proud. But because the operation conflicted with corporate policy, it wasn't mentioned in the so-called news media. The ICE raids are devious theatrics, and they serve a few objectives. They target criminals while leaving the economic issues unaddressed. They distract from massive deficits in the big, beautiful bill, and they were designed to outrage Americans and thus delegitimize border control. As the dingbat at the Grammys said, no one is illegal on stolen land. As payback for that comment, her music should be boycotted into oblivion. It won't be, because the pop audience are clueless. For the record, every place has been stolen, not once or twice, but constantly and throughout history. So what are the economic issues so long suppressed by mainstream media? The first is jobs. Migrants from Mexico fill the construction industry. They work for peanuts. And temporary visas are given out by the bushel for tech workers from India. If you go to the Microsoft campus at lunchtime, you'll think you're in Mumbai. They say tech workers are the talented 10%. That is, the 10% of the public smart enough to do the work. On a side note, India has 1.5 billion people. That's 150 million tech workers, which is almost half of our population. They also work for peanuts. The results of all this are obvious. The policies knock down wages in important industries and take jobs from American workers and American minorities. Another problem is in the social services. Migrants hammer the welfare system. They use resources needed by native-born people. And this isn't about xenophobia. It's about loyalty to our fellow citizens. Another issue is crime. That mostly affects working-class people. The resulting chaos makes us angry and fearful. This is a bonus for the financial elite because scared people are easier to exploit. It's also fine with college grads and professionals who've signed off on this train wreck from day one. The fixes are obvious. Migration has to be scaled down to promote jobs and wages for American workers and American minorities. Also, we don't have the resources to support the third world baby factory. These are not just working class perspectives, they're common sense realities. But they're too complicated for progressives to understand, and they can't be mentioned in the globalist media. Open borders is still fixed policy in both parties. That hasn't changed. Trump only co-opted the issue. The ICE raids were political theater used to confuse the issue. It converted into moral panic, with far-left dingbats chanting slogans and self-righteous celebs lecturing about things they know nothing about. Meanwhile, uncontrolled migration goes on its merry way. Welcome to the world of mass ignorance, produced and directed by your friends in corporate media and swallowed whole by a brainwashed population. On a side note, there is a way out. The public should understand the rhetorical tricks in use across the digital landscape. They're explained with descriptions and examples in the Big Book of Propaganda on Amazon. The examples are especially helpful in explaining how the spin machine operates. Also, please like and subscribe. In a time of toxic fakery, it's never been more important to support quality intel.